guys, today we are at the A12 Lakes, so called because it is within spitting distance of the A12, so I hope you can hear us okay. And I say we because for once I am not on my own. I am with the man, the myth, the legend that is Ed the Turk. So a little bit of information about the A12 Lakes themselves. There's 3 lakes here you can fish. One's, I think, an out-and-out match fishery. Then you've got Specimen Lake 2, which is the lake in the middle of the 3. Don't know a lot about it. I don't know a lot about any of the lakes, to be honest with you, because it's the first time I've been. But the middle lake, I believe, is the easiest for bites, but the average size in there, I think, doubles with the chance of some 20s. There are a couple of 30s in there as well, I think. The lake that we're actually fishing on is the Specimen Lake 1, which has got a good head of 20s, quite a few 30s, and even the chance of a couple of 40s. And I know there's a toilet in the car park, and there is also a tackle shop in the car park as well, which is equipped with everything you'd need for your trip here. So if you turn up and you've forgotten any bits and pieces, not to worry, because they've got it covered. I'm actually filming the intro in retrospect because we've been here for 2 nights already, but the weather has been horrific. Day 1, we set up in the rain, we fished in the rain all day, gale force winds. The next day wasn't a load better, to be perfectly honest with you. The predicted showers weren't showers, it was torrential for pretty much most of yesterday.
Very muddy as well.
Yeah, incredibly muddy. I ended up moving my bivvy yesterday because it was just a mud bath. I was fishing in a puddle, I had a river running through it. So yeah, that's where we're at. Fishing wise, on the first day we both sort of went with a similar idea of baiting quite heavy out in the open water, out in the middle section of the lake, and you caught one pretty much straight away, didn't you, or that evening?
That evening I moved it off, so I had 3 rods on the out in the middle, 17 wraps, but we actually see 2 bosh out. Yeah. In line with that life buoy.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
I said, right, I'll see the 3rd one, and then I wind in one of the rods, cast to it, which I did, and then I had a take within 15 minutes off that one.
That's right. So it's still out in the middle, but it was actually just cast in a bag.
Yeah.
So basically, we got up the next morning, and nothing had happened on the baited spots whatsoever. So we started to think that maybe the heavy baited areas weren't working, and we started having a bit of a flick around trying to find something different. Is that when you moved one rod down to your left?
I was fishing that life buoy where I had a couple off there in the end.
Oh, that's right, you did, yeah.
I had a couple off there, but then someone set up opposite me.
That's right.
And was we weren't in the same area, but not far away from each other.
Pretty damn close, yeah.
I decided to move a rod a bit closer in, because that morning we'd see one about 2 rod lengths, 3 rod lengths out in front of us, wasn't it? So,
that's it.
But I went left. I went to the left, so...
that's right, and then from there on in, you started getting bites pretty much.
Well, first of all, I fished the little bay bit, and then a twig actually fell in the water, and so I wound in, got the twig out of the way, or the branch, but then rather than put it back in that little bay bit, I decided to go out a little bit, and
that was it.
In the same sort of similar line where we see that one jump in front of us, and yeah, that spot's produced 8 of my bites now.
So basically I did very similar. I came in off the baited spot, decided that I was going to try and find different areas. I bought the 2 rods that were on the baited spot, I just bought them shorter, just fishing bags, because Ed had caught his fish so far on bags with no bait around them at all. And my right hand rod, whereas I'd been fishing it probably a rod length and a half off of the bay to my right, there's a big no fishing bank. And I was fishing it off of that bank, again on 10 spoms of bait, and it hadn't had a single bleep. But I had seen a few fish. In fact, we saw a lot of fish show yesterday morning, didn't we? And there was quite a few in the bay, so I decided that I was going to go a bit tighter to the bank. We was assuming that because it's getting cold, I mean, it's it's, you know, into November now, we were thinking that they probably wouldn't be tight on that bank. But I've ended up fishing it about 6 feet off of the no fishing bank, and within 20 minutes or so, that rod was away, and I had this nice 31-pound 10-ounce common. So yeah, first fish out of a lake that I've not fished before, and it was a 31-pound 10-ounce common, which was a bit of a result really, and a really nice fish to boot. Well chuffed with that one. And only probably half an hour after the 30, I had this football-shaped common, which I absolutely love, awesome fish, which was 23-pound 10 ounces. So basically yesterday, you had 7 fish yesterday, didn't you, just in yesterday on its own?
Yeah, it's well, I say non-stop action. It was like every hour at least getting a bite sort of thing. Again, it was just that one fish that showed closer in, a little bag on there.
What was the biggest one you had yesterday?
22.10 was my biggest yesterday. That was a mirror, lovely mirror. And it just went on from there, really.
And what was that? You're fishing, because I'm fishing different to you. I'm fishing little 3-inch rigs, and I'm fishing a little stick, which I'm threading the rig through, and then I'm fishing an IB wafter with my bags. But you're fishing different, aren't you? You've got
so I've got a slightly longer rig on. So I've got a like soft coated braid, and then I've got a stiff section. So probably, well, I suppose they call it like the multi rig, but I like the softer braid, so it just follows the contours of the lake bed. And then the end section is stiff. I mean, it's.
And you're fishing pop-ups on 2.
Pop-ups on 2, and one's far out. But yeah, the take's been coming on well, your wafters.
Blank saver wafters.
Yeah, the blank saver wafters, the pink ones, and yeah. So that's rig is actually that's the fluorocarbon one on the D rig.
Well, because that's why I've actually ended up using the IB wafters, is because we thought your first couple of bites were on yellow.
Well,
yellow pop-ups on the fail safes.
Yeah.
So I changed everything over because I haven't got any yellow wafters. I changed over to the IB wafters, and I started getting bites. So we assumed it was all about the yellow, and then you've had near enough all of your bites now on pink.
On pink, yeah. So yeah, that's what made me change over to like yellow pop-ups, yeah. And then, like I said, that one in the margin, it just pink. It was a pink wafter, and pink's done all the bites now.
Right, and then so by the end of yesterday, you was on 8. You'd had a fish the night before, and you had 7 yesterday.
Yeah.
And I ended yesterday on 5 fish. All of my bites yesterday were all on the same rod, fish to the out of bounds, and all of your bites yesterday were all on the same rod, on the margin rod.
The left-hand rod, yeah.
And then last night, it was still quite windy through the night, but it wasn't as much rain. Still rained a little bit, but nothing like the night before. And today we've woken up. It's probably going to be my last day today, to be fair, because I've got to go to work tomorrow. Ed's got another night yet.
Yeah.
But we've woken up today, and it's pretty much been sunny intervals all day, much brighter, still quite windy. In fact, so far, we've only caught 1. Oh, no, you've had 2 today, because you had 1 at first light, pretty much.
I just lost one just before we done this.
Yeah, and you had 1 at first light.
Yeah, one. Yeah,
which was on the margin rod.
That was the margin rod, and then I've had the other 2 bites on the long range.
Quite breezy.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was the margin rod at first light this morning, and then my other 2 takes come off the 17 wrap rod, although I've just lost one just before we started this. Weren't in contact with the fish, so I must have been wrapped round something.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Because what was weird is this morning we were both standing out by the rods and talking and saying how we were looking at the times of the pictures of the fish the day before, and we saw that you were playing your fishing at 9:26 yesterday morning.
Yeah.
And we were standing out there when my rod to the out of bounds bank went screaming off at strangely 9:26.
And then
I'm playing that in, and you had one at the exactly the same time. So we both ended up playing and fishing at the same time. So we got a nice bit of video with a brace, which was good. So, yeah, as I said a minute ago, I've got the option of fishing tonight, but it would mean I've got to pack up first thing in the morning and get home, unload the van, and then get off to work. And to be honest with you, you caught a couple last night during the night, didn't you?
Yeah, I think the last bite was, well, I said I was going to bed at 10, then it ended up at 11, because I ended up having one at 10, and then I was wide awake, and then, yeah, it was about 11 o'clock, wasn't it, last one?
And then you had one at half 3 or something this morning.
And then one, yeah, early hours of the morning, that was about 17, 18 pound common, but
yeah.
put that back. So yeah,
£19 it was.
£19, and then the bite first light. So,
well, one of the reasons that I'm toying with the idea of going home is because if I thought I was going to catch a few during the night, I wouldn't mind the aggro of going home and unloading the van and then going off to work in the morning. But the fact is I've only had one bite in the hours of darkness, and that was yesterday evening. I've had nothing through the night whatsoever. I'm assuming they move out of the bay to my right and then come more into the open water where Ed's fishing of a night time. So I feel like if I stay here tonight, realistically, I'm probably not going to catch any more, and then have the aggro of packing up at first light and getting home to unload the van. So that's my reasoning behind it. But Ed's got another night, so hopefully at the end of this video I'll be able to put up some more pictures and video that Ed's taken while I've not been here. The other thing I would like to say as well is that we really completely lost the first day, not just because of the weather, partly because of the weather, but I'm fishing this lake for the very first time. Ed's fishing it for the second time. We've never fished this swim either. So realistically, on the first day, we did what you'd think you do. You come to quite a popular and busy day ticket. We baited quite an area quite heavy, thinking the bites were going to come thick and fast. But because that didn't work, realistically, that whole first day accounted for just one fish. Yeah. And knowing what we know now we've found a couple of spots that do work and do produce fish. I think if we'd have known that, like if we came back next weekend, for instance, and started fishing how we're fishing now, that first day the weather was so bright. I mean, it was awful for us, but it was so good. I think we would have definitely caught a few each that day. So that's cost us a few fish, but that's going to be the same for anyone who comes here for the first time, I guess. You're going to have to find your spots and hope that you're lucky enough to find them straight away, not like we did. It took us a day to get our head around it. So yeah, bear that in mind. We're probably a few fish short of where we should be in our tally at the moment, I reckon. So yeah, to summarise the trip, I've done 48 hours. I've caught 6 fish. I will put a little tally up on the screen anyway for you to see. And Ed's on 10 as we speak at the moment. And to summarise the A12 Lakes, I thank you first off for inviting me here. Yeah, I would definitely recommend it. You do have to brave the noise from the motorway. It is loud, I'm not going to lie. But don't let it put you off, because the fishing is good and the average size in here is really good. I would say our average size, we've had a few mid-doubles, but most of the fish have been £19 or bigger.
I've had a few 19s, haven't I?
I think you must have had out of 10 fish. I think you've had, did we work out 6 fish over £19?
Six fish, yeah.
Which is a good average for a day ticket, with a 30 thrown in between us as well, which is pretty good. All the other information I've put up already, and if you want to book on or anything, you do have to book on, don't you, to fish this lake, or can you just turn up?
I believe the double swims you have to book, because a single person can fish the double swims, but
you still pay for the double swim.
Because they are a double, you have to pay for the double for the whole day.
Right, okay.
I do believe.
But they've got a website anyway, which is A12 Lakes, whatever it is, .com or .co.uk or whatever it is. So go on there, have a look. All the information you need is on there. Other than that, Ed, well angled. You've caught lots, and
it's only taken about 8 years. 9 years.
Yeah, let's not leave it as long next time.
No.
All right, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you for the next one. Cheers.
Cheers.
I walked alone.